Hello, everyone. Welcome to Abnormal Investigations. We have a great breakdown tonight for everybody. I think everybody's going to enjoy this breakdown tonight. It is a little bit different than what we're been doing. It is going to be about a werewolf. So, speaking of werewolves, I want to go ahead and bring Jesse on, and we will start getting the show on the road.
I'm a werewolf now, huh? Well, answer my
You
call
know.
first.
Well, I figured out that a lot of times in this community, you don't have to have proof. You just have to say it.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing too. You know, you want to hear news about you, just listen to the rumors. You
But
learn something new every day.
I do have something factual.
Uh-oh.
Your underarm, also known as your AB, is one of the stinkiest parts of your body.
Wow.
Little fun fact.
Nice fun fact.
But tonight we're going to be talking about a werewolf encounter, and I think everybody's going to really enjoy it. We've got OCST's going to be with us tonight. They're going to be co-hosting. Do you have your prayer list ready so we can go ahead and get that out?
Mm-hmm. I do.
Anytime.
Perfection can't be rushed.
It's quantity, not quality.
We would like to ask for continued prayers for Connie, Barton and Letitia Nunley, Lisa Ann's mother and sister Carolyn, Cubot, Randy Petticourt and his family, Lindsay and Tony Merkel, Emmy's sister-in-law, Tanaka. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. I am so sorry. Continue prayers for the Wolf Lady, for Lawada and her family, Colton, who's going through some medical treatment, for William Johnson, for Michelle McGuire, James Ibarra, whose wife's family was in a recent really tragic car accident, so prayers for their recovery, for Pam Jones, who is having heart surgery coming up next month, prayers for complete healing and for the doctors, for Donna Severio, who is in the hospital with pneumonia at the moment. May he be also healed and recovered. And for Mike Shriver. I'm sorry, Mike, if I mispronounced your name. He is looking at having spinal surgery, so we ask for God's complete healing for him as well.
I got one more. I'm not going to say a name, but there is a person out there that could use prayers that's having a really tough time right now with a medical issue, and they've asked not to be named, but prayers for them also. Let's see, there was something else. Of course, we're getting ready to do the Vatican Patreon video that'll be coming out pretty soon. I've already got the date set that we're going to do the recording. It usually drops usually the day after. Um, what else we got coming up? The members on here, you have a live coming up for the members only on the 3rd. So if you are a member, you will have access to all of us, all to yourself on the 3rd. So
Bring the questions.
that's right. Bring the questions. I'll talk about grannies, whatever y'all want to know, where the book's at, what we're putting in the book. We talk about popcorn, Christy, whatever y'all want to talk about. But yeah, we're gonna do a members only live on the 3rd. Patreon will have the Vatican video drop. Of course, it cannot be released to the members because even though it is a members video, it is still held to YouTube standards. So I wish I could, but I can't. I'm trying to think if we got anything else coming up. October, Squatch Camp. A lot of people's been asking about that. I want to say right now we're 50-50 on it. So a little higher than what we was. So definitely looking into it. And we may bring the wolf lady down there and chain her up at the gate to protect us. We may need her. But yeah, it's a 50-50 deal right now. I think that's about all I got. I'm going to go ahead and bring on OCST and see what they're up to tonight.
Nothing.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Family. Hey, Corbin.
I had to attack Jiffy Pop a little bit tonight. I haven't got to attack her in a while.
Get him, Jess.
That's on you. I'm not getting in that fight.
Trust me. She attacks me 7 days a week and twice on Sunday.
Good. I heard you were attacking me, but I didn't catch what you were attacking me about. Just Jiffy Pop. That's all I heard, and I'm like, okay.
I'm not at liberty to say it twice.
It's okay. It was one of his weaker jokes anyway. So
okay. That's right.
Yeah, it wasn't a good one. I mean, that's one of them you just want to pull the plug on and let the stuff drain out.
The chat will tell me what you said anyway. That's all right. Hi, Romans.
So tonight we have a werewolf encounter that I called and took an interview over, and I think y'all are going to enjoy this one. It's a little off the rails. We'll see how close you all can get to it. But I think it's going to be one of the better ones for as far as like, wow. Oh, and don't forget tomorrow night's Friday night, Boots on the Ground. I'll be back out Boots on the Ground tomorrow. So I'm not sure how that's going to work out right now, where I'm going to be or what I'm going to do, because as y'all know, we're getting a lot of rain right now again. We're already flooded. So it's going to be even worse. Been out there in the flood, but that's okay. I've got a life jacket. We're going to go out there and see what we can find. Not that it would. Huh?
Keep the rain on your side of the state.
Oh man, did you see the weather tonight? Have you seen that?
Mm-mm.
It was south of us the last I heard, but I haven't been.
Oh, I got some more good news for you. The next 10 days is rain.
For y'all.
No, you're getting it too. We're going to make sure that line stretches right down there to southern Oklahoma.
It needs to stay away Saturday.
Yeah, it can cool off. I heard it's supposed to be like 90 degrees on Saturday, so I hope not, because have an adventure to go on.
Imagine the humidity.
I don't even want to.
A lot of people don't know it, but Oklahoma's humidity is terrible. I mean, it can be hard to breathe.
Minnesota was way up there at one time because we went there for in the summertime for like the county fair that they have and the town that we lived in, and the humidity was so damn bad I could barely walk. It was crazy, and you think it was hot down here. It was 10,000 times worse up there. I don't know what it was, but
the lakes.
Yeah, it could have been, but and of course everyone was really complaining up
Mhm.
there, and I'm like, this ain't nothing. I mean, we just came from 100-degree heat.
Yeah, Carolyn, I think it is worse in South Florida. Just my opinion, though.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Attraction Power. I appreciate that. I worked really hard on that. I had to do it by myself. So thank you for that. So I hate humidity. That's one of the things to me that makes everything even harder to breathe. It's like you're breathing underwater.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you kind of are. Kind of. Evaporated,
Yeah.
right? Or whatever.
Yeah.
We may just have to cancel all of our boots on the grounds and just start sitting on our ass and doing these. What's everybody think about that?
I know. I answered it for everybody. There you go.
Yeah. No.
I could sit here and lie to you all night and come up with a bunch of lies and stuff. It'd be just like going to a bar. I mean, y'all could come in and watch a fat guy tell lies all night. And it'd be like Cheers, where everybody yells Norm when you walk in. You know, you'd have your own chair.
Hey,
I love it.
most people in the bar are drunk and therefore actually are more honest, isn't it? Isn't that how they say? You know, you want to hear the truth, young kids and drunk person.
Drunk, brainwashed. I mean, pretty much same thing.
Unless
Yeah.
you're a compulsive liar, then it just makes you worse.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true.
Whenever you start believing your own lies, you know you're in trouble. All right, guys. Harold, before we start, I know you got some things going on. If you want to tell everybody, I'll let you go ahead and do that before we jump into everything.
Yeah.
Norm just passed. What?
Yeah, didn't you know
Not
that?
Norm. No, I live under a rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, he passed a couple days ago. 3
Oh my
days ago.
goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's my water to Norm.
Yeah, that was one of.
Norm.
It was ironic that he passed away on the anniversary of the final show.
Oh
Really?
wow.
Yeah, like the 35th anniversary of the final show is the day that he passed away on.
Yep.
Yeah, and then they ran a clip of what he said on that last show. And it said something along this line. I'm going to paraphrase it, because something about loving his bar stool so much. That was his bar stool. And he goes, if there's a heaven, I hope that bar stool is there up in heaven. And he goes, and I hope to goodness that God's not sitting in it, or something like that. And of course I started laughing, but it was awesome that he mentioned heaven, two, that he hopes his bar stool is there. So I think it's cool, and I hope he's up there in heaven watching us crazy people go, Norm!
Lot of memories with that show. My mom and dad used to watch it every night.
Mm-hmm. That was a good show. Sorry to cut you off there, Harold.
It's all right.
Proceed.
This Saturday, we're going to be going and speaking to someone about going on their private property to start doing some cryptid research. It's a very large property, and the only thing is she said there's a lot of timber rattlers. So
Oh,
that's
got your snake boots?
I don't have any.
Uh-oh.
I'm wearing my flip flops.
No, I'm gonna be the
Christy, no flip flops in an area like that.
But they're
That's
not
just
watching shoes.
asking for trouble.
No, that's a bad idea. I saw a rattlesnake the other day, and it scared me bad. And me and my mom were out driving, and we actually saw something laying in the road. And mom said, "Is that a pole laying in the road? Don't hit that. It's probably got nails in it." And we got up to it, and it was a rattlesnake, timber rattler. It was probably 7 foot.
Dang.
And probably as big around, man, as a can. The thing was huge. He could have bit you in the stomach if he would have struck. And
Beautiful.
I jumped out and tried to film him, but I couldn't get the camera going. And he went in the grass up on kind of an incline. And I was like, I'm not going after him. He strikes out of there. He'll hit me higher than my boot.
Yeah.
And as big as he is, I was not going to take a bite from that.
Mm-mm.
I'm actually kidding about the flip flops, y'all. I really am. I do have boots. I have
But
cowboy boots and regular hiking boots, but I was.
People always make fun of me. Don't worry, Christy, because I wear, I call them gaiters, but people make fun of me for wearing them.
Do you wear Crocs?
I do wear Crocs. I like my Crocs.
Should I wear the Crocs out there? That would be fun.
And whenever I get real serious, I put the back of the Crocs on. And I call that my 4-wheel drive. That's when I'm fixing to get serious.
But all kidding aside, yes, I have boots to wear.
Yeah, I think what we're gonna do Saturday is, we're just gonna walk the perimeter of the area, and then they have the area mapped out, so we're gonna at least be able to study that. Also, been given permission to use the drone.
Mm-hmm.
So
Cool. Don't do your drone like I did mine. I had 2 drones, and they both exploded. But I still have a good one, though, that was bought for me that I still use. But I did crash 2 of them, and they do make a pop sound.
What'd you do? Hit a tree with it, or did you not go high enough, or did you go like this, or what? Okay, you can't just say that and not tell us how you did it.
Side of the house and a highline wire. Yeah. I don't know what happened to it. It wouldn't steer. It just like tilted one way and just took off, and it didn't matter what I did. It just.
So operational error.
User error.
I'm okay though. I ejected. But I don't think I can fly no more. Don't they have like a rule that if you eject twice, you can't fly no more?
Yep, that's the rule.
I don't know.
Yep.
You'd have to ask Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I used to be 6'6", and now I'm 6 foot. I lost 3 inches each time.
Sure. And I used to be 5'7".
But you're supposed to eject with the plane upright, not upside down.
Oh yeah, that'd be terrible.
Anyway, and then
there was something else I was going to ask y'all, and I can't remember now what it was. Are y'all going in the daylight or the dark?
Daylight. Yeah.
Me?
Until we get to know the area better.
In the dark?
Good idea.
No, don't go in the dark.
So is there like trails where you can go inside of the property eventually, or do you not know yet?
They said that there's a whole lot of different terrain. So
oh wow.
There's a creek that runs through it. It connects to a river. So they said that there's a lot of area to cover. Probably a little over a third of one side of the property is all forest.
Hey, Margie.
So they said that there's no mountains there because not over here, but
I'm sad, no mountain.
Pretty good sized hills. There's rocky terrain. There's some cliff sides.
Wasn't there some caves?
Yeah, there's a few caves. Also.
That's what he's excited. He just wants to go. The other night we were talking to the lady, and he's like, "Babe, when can we do this?" And I'm like, "I don't know." He goes, "Saturday." I said, "Well, let me look at the weather." I said, "Babe, it's supposed to be 90 degrees on Saturday."
Right.
And he goes, "Well, Saturday morning." I just want to go.
Use a
2 weeks ago, but
you have to get you a canary. And what did Belinda mean? Do you know what Belinda was getting at, Jesse? I don't know what she meant.
I'm looking right now.
She wanted me to explain the crown, but I wasn't sure what she was talking about.
The crowns that are on your chat?
Do I have crowns on my chat?
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like
Yeah.
I didn't know I did.
that must be new.
It's like
Yeah.
XP experience points of some kind.
I think me and Belinda donated. Okay, so was there a 8-8 attraction power? Did you make a donation? Emmy
I don't.
has number 1.
Where's the
I don't
I don't.
know.
I don't even see crowns
They're
on.
not on Patreon. They're on the actual YouTube page I'm looking at.
Yeah.
So they're not showing on StreamYard.
Or yeah, sorry, not Patreon. Yeah, StreamYard. So
Because I'm not seeing them on StreamYard. That's what all my screens are showing StreamYard, and I'm not seeing any crowns.
it looks like Emmy's number 1, 888 is number 2, and William Mendez is number 3.
I don't know.
Okay, super chat. You can do it. Oh, must be super chats.
Huh.
See,
I did not.
So, see the XP.
What's the leaderboard?
75 XP.
Oh yeah. I don't know what that is.
That's why we kept asking you, what the heck do the crowns mean? I even asked you that.
I don't know.
So it says, how do you get on the leaderboard? You need to collect experience points. Here's how. Send a live chat message or send super chats or super stickers.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, I don't.
So I guess YouTube is kind of doing like a number 1 fan deal by people on your lives, I guess. Kind of like they do whenever you go into your analytics. It'll say like, this person is your number 1 person because they have 100 points. This one, 80 points, and so forth, so on.
Yeah, Christy has 75 points.
Wow.
Okay. Is that what that meant?
I don't know. It's showing you as having 75 points when I'm looking at the leaderboard.
Oh,
Interesting.
okay.
And it might be how much people chat too, how much you interact.
Me telling everybody hi, 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 hi. Oh.
Uh-huh.
That's probably it. Hello, 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 hello. Hey, babe, 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 babe.
Hey.
Oh, goodness.
Okay.
I love this show. And when I
Okay, people don't start spamming the chat now.
I can't do that tonight.
Okay, so I'll be. I can't wait to get some reactions out of this story tonight, guys. This story, I'm going to admit, it's a good one. I mean, God, I have to be careful how I word things because I look at things from an investigator's point. So, what I mean by whenever I say something's good, I mean that there is
There's excitement.
good evidence.
Good evidence.
Yeah, because you have to remember, we sometimes, thank you for that, Tim. We appreciate that. God bless you for that. We sometimes say things that people may think is harsh, or you can laugh at a moment to where the general public may say, oh, I can't believe he laughed at that. And whenever you go to school, you learn that people sometimes laugh or have their own way of releasing stress. It doesn't mean they're laughing because they think the situation is funny. They are relieving stress or anxiety. So,
Yep.
Because I've seen people that actually cut the top of their foot off mowing and were laughing when we got there, but they were crying at the same time. It wasn't funny to them. It's just the only way they knew how to release, I guess.
You think somebody that would clip their toe off would be laughing too?
If you was having trouble seeing, I think.
Their
But if you can't see your toenail, you probably shouldn't be driving to Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
All right. So the person I talked to said that they had an encounter, and they said, I wanted to share it with you. They thought about not sharing it, but they said they know that our audience is non-judgmental. They got a fly after me, non-judgmental, and they felt safe sharing it on our show. So they said they live on a working farm, and the farm, they don't run it like they used to. It's not as big as it was. They're pretty much retired now. They just kind of do small things, whatever they feel like doing. It's not like it's their bread and butter now. So he said, we still do small things, but it's not like a huge operational farm like it used to be. They're enjoying their retirement. So, can you all hear the TV on my side? Let me kill that real quick. 1 second. That's driving me nuts too.
Doesn't take much to drive them nuts, then, huh? I'm saying. Did we say hello to everybody in chat today? I don't think we did. No.
He's slipping.
I know. Hello, Michelle McGuire. T-Bone, welcome. Belinda, hello. 888 Attraction Power, welcome. We've got, I say Tyler, hello.
Hey,
Emmy, Carolyn, Silver Bullet moderating, Belinda moderating, Lisa moderating, Margie Burke, hello. We've got...
And Cornbread's fired.
Yeah. We have both Danas in chat. Romans, Ellen Smith, hello. Who else? Who am I missing here? Am I missing anybody? It's Sabrina. What is that? It's upside down. It's an upside down Sasquatch. Can't hear you, Mike. There's no volume. That's not going to work for the show. Scared Silly, hello.
You know why it's upside down?
Because you're mirrored?
Nope.
No, that wouldn't make it upside down. So that you can actually see it right set up when you're drinking.
That was what I thought also, and that is one of the reasons. But the other reason is because if you happen to run into Bigfoot in the woods, it would be a sign of distress, and the American flag upside down is a sign of distress.
So...
Because the American flag is with him.
Oh, I thought you were saying if you ran into Sasquatch in the woods with your cup, that he would know you were in distress.
No. It kind of means like if you run into him, you're in distress. Like, that's not a good situation.
Where did you get your cup? It's cool.
A friend of mine sent it to me from the show. They wouldn't let me brag about them. They said I couldn't say their name.
Okay. Thank you, Margie, for that donation. Greatly appreciated.
You know what you forgot to do tonight, Mike? That just did for you?
The call out?
Roll call. You are so fired.
And thank you, Margie, for that, and God bless you. I know, I forgot. I was excited about this story. I've been excited about it since I took it.
Oh, yeah?
I'm very excited.
He was talking about it all day, but I couldn't get any details out of him, so.
I'm excited for the story. Get on with it.
Tell the story. But, well, I wanted to tell you all about finding that damn pig in the ditch, okay?
What?
But anyways,
if you know, you know.
Yes, I don't. Am I supposed to know? Maybe not.
Letting us know what's for dinner tomorrow.
Yeah, there you go. That's how he found it. He smelt it. That's bacon.
Hello, Larry. Good to see you.
Hey, Larry.
Hey, Larry. Good to see you. All right. So they live on this farm, and it's not a working farm anymore. So they just kind of do the things that they enjoy doing. And I don't blame them. They said they worked a long, hard life. And he said right now, the one thing they enjoy the most is a cold glass of tea on their front porch, watching the sun go down over the hill. I could see how that would be nice. Mm-hmm. He said he has a neighbor. His neighbor's name is Ben. Ben was also a farmer, but he had never been married. And he said he never planned on it. We were close and very good friends. And when we always had each other's back. He said if something would come up, we would help each other, fix fence, or if a tractor broke. He said we always was helping each other. He said usually what one of us, didn't know, the other one did. And he said my wife is also getting old, and he was laughing about it. And he said she doesn't like to do the things that she used to like to do. She used to like to raise chickens and ducks. He said that's what his wife really loved doing. Thank you for that, Darren. God bless you for that. And she doesn't feel like doing that anymore because she has a bad back. So they're just kind of taking it easy, he said. And Ben told him one night whenever they were visiting on the porch, Ben told him, he said, I have a monster that's coming to my back fence. And he said, we have never discussed monsters ever. He said, that's just not something that we do. We don't talk about that. He said, we have a lot of other kind of conversations, like how many calves you got, or, what kind of calves are you getting this year? How many are you calving? He said, never talked about monsters, And he said, that's what was weird. And he told me that this creature kept coming up to the back of his fence. And he said Ben seemed real adamant about calling it a monster. And he said, I'll admit, I kind of laughed it off. And he said, so I looked at Ben, and I was, the gentleman's name is Stan that's telling the story. And he said, I looked at Ben and I asked him, I said, well, where did it come from? Why do you think this thing is coming up to your house? Where, what kind of monster is it? He said, he said, I was really just kind of playing along. And he said, I did kind of laugh at him, but he said, Ben never laughed. And he told me that he took a walk the other night for exercise. They like to walk in the evenings for exercise. And for some reason or another, Ben decided on his walk that he was going to walk through the cemetery. Mm. And on his walk, he walks through the cemetery, and he said he heard something in the woods following him. Thank you, Lisa Ann, for that. God bless you for that. And he said, while I'm walking in the cemetery, I hear something in the woods following me. And he said, I turned and I looked, and it kind of looked like a man, but it also kind of looked like a dog. He said, I wasn't real sure really what it was. But he said, I carry a candy bar in my pocket when I go walking in case my sugar drops. So I opened the candy bar and I tossed it into the woods to it. And he says, as he's walking away, he can actually hear the paper being undone and something eating the candy bar. So it scared him, and he said he headed for the house. So he said whenever he got to the house, he had noticed that this creature had been coming up to his back fence, and he's telling Stan the story. And Stan said, I asked him, you're feeding this thing now that it's at your house? And Ben was like, yeah, I've been feeding it since it came up. It's really not that bad of a thing. I mean, it's not evil. It's not bad. And Stan said, well, what do you feed it? What does it like to eat? And he said, Ben said, it likes to eat my leftovers from dinner. I'll take those out there and I'll rake them over the fence to it. And you can hear it just gobbling it up. And he said, it also likes to eat my dog food. If that's all I have, I will dump some over the fence to it. And he said, you can hear it crunching it up. He said, it's like it's starving every time he feeds it. Just crunch, crunch, crunch. And Stan was like, I'm sitting there looking at Ben, and I'm like, hello, Dana Ortega. Good to see you. And he's like, yeah, right, Tim. Thanks for the candy bar. And he's like,
Candy bar.
I'm still wondering, like, why is he feeding this creature, right? Why would you feed something?
Mm-hmm.
So Ben says he takes it as leftovers. He feeds it to dog food. And he says, I asked him if it was nice. And Ben stated, It is nice, but sometimes it gets a little greedy whenever I go outside, and it'll bite me on the arm or on the hand while I'm feeding it. It
Well,
like gets a little bit aggressive before I can get all the food raked out. It has bit me and it has snapped me before as I'm feeding it. And Stan said I had noticed that Ben has been bandaging his arm and hands, but I assumed he had heard it working on the farm. I mean, really, who would think he said a werewolf, right? One at night, and I was just thinking, there ain't no werewolf biting him. He's messing around with me. This isn't really happening. But his arm is bandaged, and he is definitely getting hurt. So they're trying to figure out what is going on. Is Ben losing it? So one night, Stan said I went over to Ben's house, and he was just hanging out with Ben and trying to, I guess, get some information out of Ben. And I asked him, I said, "Are you really meaning it's a werewolf?" And he said, Ben was like, "I'm telling you, it's a werewolf." So he said, I stayed late that night, and whenever I was leaving, walking to my car, I thought I heard something walking at the back of Ben's house, like something was watching me. And he said, I'd never heard that before. I was really like, what in the world is going on here? And he said, so I started looking toward the back of the house, and I couldn't see anything. So he said, I looked at Ben, and I said, is that the werewolf, as I was leaving Ben's house? And he said, Ben looked at me, and he said, it can talk. Don't be talking about it. It understands you.
What?
So he said, I get this weird feeling come over me. And he said, Ben looks at me, and just as serious as he ever was, he said, you know it's a werewolf. I told him he needed to lay off of the corn whiskey, and I started walking home. But he said, I did have a weird feeling that I was being watched. And he said, Ben scurried into the house, grabbed the dog food as he's walking home, and he sees him headed toward the back fence with the dog food.
No.
How long had you been feeding this thing?
No.
They didn't say how long it's been going on. They just said it's been a while. He met it at the cemetery.
So he brought it home with him?
I think because he fed it that candy bar, it was like, he's got good food, and I want to go and see what he's got at his house. I think that's one of the main reasons why, if people don't know what they're doing, you really got to be careful with gifting, because if something may find out that it likes you or likes the way you taste.
It sounds to me like this creature liked the man so much that he didn't want to off him. He just would get his fill of blood, probably, to taste.
Oh, yeah, I never thought of that.
Hi, Walter.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Never even thought about that. That's kind of crazy, too. So Stan says whenever he gets home, he goes in and he pets his bird dog, and he said he named his bird dog Elvis. And he said I let him out, and when I let him out, of course, he was hungry. So I fed Elvis and went to check on my wife Sally. She was already in bed, so I went to bed, and I was laying in bed, and I hadn't fallen asleep yet when I thought I saw someone walk past the bedroom window. I knew there couldn't be anyone out there. I mean, I was laying there, and I thought, there's nobody out there. You stand, stop this. He's like, stop falling into what Ben's telling you. I'm going to be as crazy as he is. So he said, I fell asleep. The next morning, he said, whenever I went to get in my truck, I noticed that my truck smelled like a strong smell of the best way I can describe it is morning urine.
Ew.
He said, I mean, it was strong. And then I noticed that the tire on my truck was soaked, like a dog would pee on it, but a lot more. There was a puddle below the tire. But the weird thing was, it went up the side of the truck and across my windshield, and I couldn't figure out how a dog would be able to do that.
Dog gymnastics.
Or really tall, standing on its hind legs.
Or just very athletic.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pink
So-
Pixie says he's marked. He's been marked. Yep.
Could it have jumped on top of his vehicle and then pee-peed on the windshield or what? I don't know. It
A
just
regular
seems
dog, I mean,
empty.
yeah, obviously not talking about a regular dog.
I have seen a Rottweiler jump on top of a pickup and pee on the windshield. So, yeah.
Okay. So I think that's kind of what Stan thought too. So he said I carried on with my chores that day, and he said my chores now mostly are a trip to town to the coffee and donut shop and to buy a paper. You know, he said, you got to remember I'm retired. He said, every morning I go to the coffee shop, I buy donuts, I get the paper, visit with all the people in there, and then usually bring Sally, home some donuts and something. So he just said, I decided that day to go see Ben on my way home. I usually don't, but I just felt the need to go by and check on Ben. Ben had been on his mind. He said, when I got to Ben's house, Ben was standing outside in his front yard, and he was drinking his coffee as normal. But I noticed he had his arm wrapped up. This time, I noticed it had to be a pretty bad injury because there was blood seeping through his bandages.
Ew.
I was very, very concerned for him. He said, I asked Ben what happened, and he said that there was a werewolf out there, like I told you, and he got a bit aggressive last night. He said it was pissed off at him. And I asked him, why is it mad at you, Ben? He said, Ben looked at me and he said, he just got a little aggressive. I said, come on. You have to be honest with me, Ben. What's going on? He looked at me and moved his head toward the house nonchalantly, like trying not to draw attention to anything in the woods. And he said, kind of like, follow me into the house. He was being all secretive and looking at the woods as we started walking toward the house.
He didn't want to say anything in front of it. He was scared of it.
Yeah, I think he was afraid too. I think he was getting scared at this point.
The creature being aggressive, I think the creature had decided he liked the guy, and he wanted to change him as a reward for feeding him.
But
Or
that'd
the
be
dog food just wasn't enough anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I like
Sure.
Tim's thing. It's been tastes like bacon. Sorry.
Welcome to the
Welcome.
members, Sunshine.
Hey man. Hey Sunshine.
And don't forget the 3rd will have a members only video, Sunshine.
The Wolfman like backstrap, I guess.
Yeah, right.
So
Hi Carla.
he said the werewolf was angry at him because the other night when I had stopped by, I had stayed too late into the night and I was late feeding him.
Oh.
Sounds
He
like my
said-
cats.
They
Sounds
are
like my
very, he said they're very territorial. And he said he doesn't like me to have guests over at the house at nighttime. That is his time.
OMG.
Yeah. So it's starting to become very territorial, kind of like trying to take control over him and his property.
What can I be telling them?
Yeah, I think I'd be calling for help at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But Stan said, at that time, I thought I seen a shadow move from his kitchen window. I couldn't be sure, but it was almost certain. I thought I was losing my damn mind. He said, Ben stated, I just went out to feed the werewolf when you left, Stan, and it was angry. And he taught me a lesson. I told him that he needed to see a doctor because his arm looked bad. And Ben told me he had it covered. I thanked him for the coffee and I told him I had better be getting back home so my wife wasn't home alone and worried. Actually, I was worried for her. He said, as I was walking to my truck, I noticed a large shadow in the woods. It stuck behind the tree. Ben was at the door, and when I said, do you see that? He said no and motioned me to go on like I hadn't seen anything. So I started on my way home. He's not wanting to draw attention to this creature at all.
Yeah, I don't remember who said it, but somebody was like, well, I guess we know why you pissed on the truck.
Yeah, marking his territory.
He was mad. Yeah.
And, you know, it bit him a little harder that time than it did the other times, too. So I guess it was telling him, you know, don't be late with my food.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it funny how he done like a nice deed by feeding it, you know, and then it shows up and it starts making him feed it, you know?
Yeah, that's why you don't want to feed those things.
Don't feed the wild animals.
Because they will bite the hand that feeds them.
Don't pet that dog. Oh. Sorry.
You know, that's, yeah, like what Pink Pixie said. It's training him. It's training the owner.
Mm-hmm. Now, if I had something like that in my backyard, and it didn't want to leave, I'd be going to the store and buying me a whole bunch of frozen chicken.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I won't say the rest, but I know where you're going with that.
Make it go to sleep.
Yeah.
Then throw it in the back of the vehicle and drive out in the woods about 100 miles away.
Yeah.
Take pictures and samples.
We bring it to Mike's.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, check it out.
Yeah, until the rest of the pack finds out what you did, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like what Tyler says. Can I pet that dog?
Hey, Tyler. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Pink Pixie.
So Stan says, I was so upset. My mind was running everywhere. You know, Stan's like, I don't believe in these damn things, you know. And he says, so I go home, I sit down, and I poured myself a glass of whiskey. And I told my wife, we need to talk. So I told her everything, sitting by the fireplace. All we had on was a small light. It was late, almost 12 a.m. And I was enjoying a glass of whiskey. While we were talking, our two small dogs started whining and ran to the bedroom. And the cat even ran and hid behind the couch. This all happened at once. He said, I'm talking like these little dogs took off running. They were tearing up the carpet, man. And the cat just flew, like all happened at once. He said it startled him. He said, it actually startled us. We were like, what in the hell is going on? It's like they just were scared to death, you know?
The big dog's coming to get him.
He said they were terrified. Like, they'd never seen their dogs even do this before. And I'm going to let you all give your opinions and a little discussion point, but I do have to do this, even though I put content warning on this. Mm-hmm. There is a content warning on this for anybody in chat that gets upset over unalived things happening. If you're not wanting to hear that, then you probably would like to leave now. So that way it will keep people from griping at me later.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think, Jesse?
I don't know. I'm picturing his animals scattering like the other day when the car backfired in front of the house and both of the cats did one of those Scooby-Doo runs where their back legs are moving but not going anywhere. But yeah, I mean, obviously, something is there. Trust your animals, and even your somewhat crazy neighbors, I guess. You think they're crazy, maybe they're not.
I think that they sensed something was outside,
Mm-hmm.
something that was an apex predator,
Mm-hmm. And they
and
didn't think the house was going to save them.
which goes back to what Scott Carpenter said: "Get your kids a dog." He said the dogs always know when it's coming; they know when it's there. It doesn't have to be a big dog; just something that can alert you. You know.
Hey, canaries in the minefields, right? Or in the
Right.
mine caves? Yeah,
Yeah.
mines. Coal mines. Coal mines.
And
That's
then
what I'm
Stan
thinking.
said, "That's when it happened, Mike. The deepest, longest howl I've ever heard." He said, "I mean, this howl went on forever. There is nothing I know of that would have the lung capacity to howl as long. It was like a scream and a howl all together that just vibrated his chest, the house." He said, "I could see the whiskey in my cup shaking." And he said, "It seemed like it went on forever." He said, "This was the longest," he calls it a scream howl, "that he had ever heard in his life." He said, "I'm talking the cows that were up by the fence, the few they still have, they went to the back pasture. The animals in the house are under the bed, behind the couch, and they're not coming out." Thank you for that, Lisa Ann. God bless you for that.
Yeah, it's kind of like the uh, what I think was a Googway. The when I told you all about the white Sasquatch,
Uh-huh.
um, or Dogman. I think it's probably a Googway, um, and I'm leaning towards those things being half Dogman, because when I saw it transform, like it when it flexed and then it leaned forward and extended its neck out, it walked around like it didn't have a neck. But when it went to do the howl, its neck went way out and forward, and then he just let out that shriek, you know.
Wow.
Um, and he looked like a dog to me, so um, that's why I'm like, I wasn't very familiar with the Googway, but I heard quite a bit about, you know, half man, half dog. So,
You know, I fielded another story that I'm releasing on a video coming out, and it was really interesting to me. And I'm going to try not to let my OCD run away with me. You know, whenever I spoke to the shaman a few years ago when I was doing the Girl Scout murders case, and they were very adamant, the elders, about Bigfoot. They laugh when I say dog man. They said it's a white man's name for a werewolf or a googway, but they said they're all the same thing. And of course, I wasn't going to disagree with them because their security was well armed.
Mm.
And you know, I just was I was a guest, and it was evident that I was a guest, and I was allowed to stay as long as I was behaving myself. You know that feeling. And whenever he explained it to me about, you know, the small dog, the big dog, the long snout, the short snout, no snout, a tail, no tail, I thought, okay, you know, my mind is open to everything. You know, we, as an investigator, we have to have an open mind. We have to take all information in, and we have to examine it, even if we believe it or not, because there could always be truth. Well, I received a report yesterday, and I released a video either tomorrow or the next day. I can't remember. There was an encounter that happened on a reservation up on the res, and it was a Sasquatch. No doubt, he said. Orange colored Sasquatch
Orange?
with orange, with a canine snout. Had the cone head, had the body of the Sasquatch. He said it had the feet print of the Sasquatch, had the hands of the Sasquatch. It walked right in front of him. He was on a machine, one of those heavy rolling machines they use to roll a road down to make them, you know, smash them down. He was running one of those ahead of the crew. Said, I saw it plainly, and they was on a reservation. And he said it was everything that he'd been told the Sasquatch looked like. It had the smell, the exact look. It was about 8 foot tall, the long arms swinging. He said it looked like an overgrown ape, but he said it had, without a doubt, like a Doberman pinscher's snout and pointed ears.
Wow.
And all of a sudden, that interview with the shaman just flashed right back to me.
Victoria asks if are they breeding?
Victoria, that's a good question. I'm glad you asked that. I want to throw that up. I was looking at some things, and I've had a lot of people ask me, like, do you think they have litters? Do you think they have one or two kids and all that? If you look, and I have not, Victoria, explored this very deep, but I have started to. There is some primates that only have offspring about every 8 to 9 years.
Yeah.
This is my theory. This is my theory, entertainment purposes only. If they are what we believe them to be, a mixture of the fallen angels and the DNA of an ape, a primate, if that is what it is, then we know that they would still carry the DNA of what they were originally, mixed with the DNA of the father. That just what happens in nature. We know that to be true. So if that's true, then who's to say that these creatures couldn't have part of the angelic passed down traits, plus they still have the traits that they had before they were corrupted. So maybe they only do breed every 8-9 years. And if they do that, that would almost explain why we're not overpopulated in these creatures, because they're not breeding as fast as other animals would. And that's just a theory of mine. That is only a theory. I could be totally wrong. I have been a lot of times.
No, it sounds pretty plausible to me.
Amber asks, are you saying it was half werewolf, half Bigfoot?
Amber's going to make me do it, ain't she? So, Amber, the shaman that I spoke with believed that there is no... Okay. I don't want to get this wrong and end up going back down there and not coming home. My understanding by what they said was there is no werewolf. There is no dogman. There is a Sasquatch. They believe they all come from the same thing. Not meaning they all look alike. Not meaning they all, are the same color and all. But they believe they're the same thing, like a Rottweiler, like, a little rat terrier. They're different, but they're still a dog. They're still a canine. They're still a Sasquatch. They're the same thing. And the way I understood it, the more and more that they spoke about it, it's almost like they believe the Sasquatch even to be a shapeshifter. Now, they didn't go that far down the road with me, but that's where it seemed to me like the conversation was headed before the meeting ended, is that these things are able to take on different appearances. Not complete differences, but some of them have snouts. Some of them are like werewolves. Some of them come from what they call the forbidden magic, the evil shaman that use a magic they're not supposed to, because they believe that they can summon these creatures and they can put a spirit into them and they can control them for one moon cycle. There was a thing that happened in Oklahoma, and Harold probably heard about this, I'm sure. I can't remember if it was a year or two ago. Two guys, best friends, went fishing down on the creek. Their kids were engaged to get married. One guy comes home without his best friend for years, ask him, "Where's your best friend?" "I unalived him, choked him to death down on the creek." "Why did you do that?" "Well, he said he was going to summon Bigfoot to come and unalive me." And that actually went to court. The guy's in prison now. But whenever I first heard that, I thought, man, this is crazy. But then I was reading the other day, and Native Americans believed that they were able to summon Sasquatch to send them to harass you. Now, they believed that they could not unalive you, but they could harass you. They believed that they could do that. Now, the dark shaman, the shamans that practice the what they call the forbidden magic, they took it a step further, and they would call the creature that they would possess with that spirit would be called a gugwe. The gugwe is actually the face eater. They believe they will unalive you. They will shred you. They are the ones that are evil. And pretty much they believe they can control them for a moon cycle. So that's where we headed. And that's kind of where the conversation went with them. So I hope I answered your question. Go ahead, Jesse. I see you writing. Go ahead. I'm waiting. Come on. Give me your best.
I was responding. I was responding to, who was it? Amber. She said, changing the question, if they were part ape, wouldn't that have already shown up in the DNA? I don't think they're part ape at all. And no, according to the DNA project, the female gene was part human, which was woman, and the other was part unknown,
Right.
not necessarily ape.
Right.
But I would argue, this would be my argument. I would argue that the sample that was tested was part human and part unknown. But I would also argue that if we believe that the angels, as the Bible says, contaminated all DNA of all the animals, that if we were to get another sample, that it could come back part lion, part unknown. It could come back part whale, part unknown, because we know all the DNA was corrupted. This is just the DNA that we have been lucky enough to get a hold of to be able to get tested.
Well, and if you think about the mythology going all the way back, I mean, there were chimeras that were, part several different things. I mean, theory thought that these were several different beings that had already procreated and bred together and created these other monstrosities of their own.
Right.
Maybe.
And like what Darren says, they're their own species. They were here before us, and that is also another very plausible, theory that people have. I don't have, and I've said this since the beginning, since I opened my channel, I don't have the answers, all the answers. I don't believe there's any professionals in this field. I believe that we have to, I look at it based on a Christian background, is how I base my investigations. The reason I do that is because I was taught when I became an investigator, in order to investigate something, you have to have a basis of truth, okay? You have to have something to go on. Because if you don't have anything concrete to go from, then everything you're doing is speculation. So you want to go from what you know and then try to go to where it takes you. So what I believe is, I believe the word of God, the Bible, and I believe that Scott Carpenter, Travis Carpenter, the DNA, Truth Denied, I believe that gives us a fundamental basis that shows us that that is true, because we rely on DNA enough that we actually put people to death using DNA. So if you follow the DNA, and we have in our labs, we have a computer that has every DNA sample known to man that we've collected. And whenever it says, human and unknown, and then you've got the Book of Enoch. I mean, I'm not saying everything in the Book of Enoch is true. I think that that's the reason it did not make the final cut. But I do believe it is a very important foundation of the Bible, because I believe there is a lot of truth in it. I think that it didn't meet the narrative to some people as to where they wanted it to go.
Well,
And maybe too much knowledge there. There may be more knowledge there than what they wanted us to have, because they're not telling us everything.
Well, again, my whole thing with the Apocrypha books of the Bible, regardless of whether they were taken out because they didn't meet the standards of the church, or what the church, that they contradicted things, there are stories that are written within that talk about these beings. They talk about the giants. Whether the stories and the encounters, or not the counters, but the stories that came out of what the Bible or what the Apocrypha was trying to say, whether or not you want to believe it or not, they talked about these humanoid creatures. They talked about the giants. They talked about all of this stuff. There are so many different stories within the Apocrypha that, whether you say it's not part of the Bible or it is part of the Bible, this is still documented information from history, and they talked about it like it was something as a matter of fact. These things were a matter of fact.
Right. What hurt the Book of Enoch is they found things inside of it not to be true. And they took those small untruths and said, if we can't believe a little bit of it, we can't believe all of it. It's kind of like, like they say, the Word of God. You either believe it or you don't. You can't believe part of it and not believe the other. Either he is all-knowing or he's not.
And again, and I don't know. I haven't read that far into the Apocrypha books to be able to determine what they're talking about that is contradicting or untrue about it, or contradicts what we know as the Bible today. However, there are questions that are raised upon those stories. And was it that they took them out because of the contradictions, or because of the quote unquote lies and untruths? Or was it because they didn't want us to know the other information that was within those books? So
there's always information hidden. Always.
Mm-hmm. And again, they talked about these creatures. They talked about all of that stuff within those books.
Oh yeah, the beast of the field. I mean, that's in the Bible. It should be the beast of the field. And there's a lot. David and Goliath and the Iliad, and the giants, and the Leviathan. We know one guy could tell you all about the Leviathan. I mean, there's a lot of creatures that are mentioned in the Bible. What is it? The behemoth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Dog and Magog or whatever.
There's even a guy out right now that's saying that he believes, and I believe what he believes, and I'm going to get out of this and get back to the story, but he believes that the dinosaurs were actually the dragons, and the Bible called them dragons, and I believe that because there is supporting evidence, tangible evidence, if you will, not preponderance of evidence.
Right.
Yes.
Now, back to the story. No more detective work tonight. We're having fun tonight. Stop it, Jesse.
World.
So he says the howl seemed to be something that he had never heard before. He said there was no way this howl was anything that he had ever seen or heard before. He's like, this was not a coyote. This was not a wolf. This was not, anything he'd ever heard. He's like, I mean, when you're sitting in your house and stuff is vibrating and reverberating, and your glass of whiskey is actually, got the sound waves in it,
mm-hmm.
There's something off when something's doing that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh yeah, he said, I was stuck to my chair, and he said, I looked at my wife, and the funny thing is she's a book reader. He said she reads a lot of books. And he said the first thing she said was, this is like something out of a fantasy, because it was so unreal that something could do that. So he said, Sally jumped out of her chair and she grabbed me by the arm and squatted beside my chair. And I could sense her fear. And we did, Mike. We sat there in silence, he said, just waiting for something else to happen. It's like your body was in this, what's going to happen next? He said, we were just waiting for what's going to happen next, you know? And I know that feeling. I've been there where I've heard something and I'm just waiting for the next thing to happen. I've been there before, especially out in the woods when I've heard a limb break and you wonder, okay, do I see it next? Does it charge me? You know, that feeling. And he says, then the back doorknob starts shaking violently. He said, honest to God, Mike, I thought whatever it was coming through that door. He said, I grabbed my old Colt 45 that I had, that I'd snuck home from the war. It had served me well. And he said, I waited. He said, my heart was racing. I held the gun, my eyes fixed on the door. Sally was frozen in fear. Her eyes were wide with terror. The doorknob continued to shake and rattle, and I could feel the heaviness in the air. He said, our door was almost like bowing. It was pushing on it so hard and was rattling. I felt my fingers do exactly as I was trained to never do. It moved from the side of the slide onto the trigger. I was that afraid.
Hmm.
You know, when I was at Granny's, they would rattle our doorknobs, and that would just scare us so bad. But he said, as sudden as the shaking and everything started, it stopped. The howling outside had also stopped. An eerie silence fell over the house, and I was left wondering, what in the hell just happened? What was at our back door? What was howling? Is Ben okay? You know, he said, I start wondering about Ben. Elder Medicine, thank you for stopping by. Always good to see you. You know, he's like, I was like, what is that? Because, you know, they didn't believe this, and nothing's ever happened at their farm. This is an older couple that's retired. All those, you know, years out there, nothing like this had ever happened. Why all of a sudden did this happen? You know, is it because, you know, he went to the graveyard and he fed something and brought it back home? You know? Hello, Vicky. He said everything just stopped. And he said, I'd done what I had seen my mom do many times as a child. And I'm sure, Mike, you've probably seen this too. I ran and I grabbed the kitchen chair and I stuck it under the doorknob to reinforce the door. He said, my mom used to do this when we were children all the time. She would always put the chairs under the doorknobs. He said that was just one of our extra locks that we would do at night. He says it works well. He said, and then we went to bed and we locked our bedroom door, which we never even closed it, he said. He said, we never shut our bedroom door. But that night, we closed it and we locked it. He said, Sally and I laid in bed. Our ears were straining to hear anything outside. He said, we were like laying there, you know, we're like, okay, what are we going to hear? What's going to happen? Is it going to start rattling again? Is it going to beat on the window? Is it going to bust the window? You know, what if it knocks the door down in the house and, you know, we hear it coming up the hallway? What are we going to do? You know, he said a million thoughts run through your mind whenever you're in this situation. And he said the silence was almost oppressive, and I couldn't shake the feeling that we were waiting for something to happen. I kept the gun close to me, my mind racing with thoughts of, what if it comes in and just shreds us alive? How much pain will we be in? And will I have to watch my wife get shredded right in front of me? He said the thought even crossed my mind that if that was to even happen, I wouldn't allow that to happen to myself.
Oh, that gave me chills.
That's how afraid he was. This guy was terrified. If you'd have heard him on the phone, this guy was terrified. I mean, people that are dealing with this stuff, they are terrified. And he said, as I laid there, I couldn't help but wonder if Ben's werewolf story was more than just a tale, you know? Was it possible that something supernatural was lurking just outside our doors now? Had it followed me home?
I think it did.
Mhm.
Most definitely.
100%.
I think it got mad at him because he stayed too late at Ben's house, and I think it took offense to that. And it may have heard him talk about it too whenever he was talking, you know, and Ben was like, no, 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 don't, you know.
And
It
maybe
might
the
have,
fact that he didn't believe it.
right. Or it could have started seeing Stan as a threat.
Mhm.
Somebody else is going to know I'm here now, and, you know, we don't need that. So he said, I woke up the next morning to the sound of my wife sitting on the floor crying. One of our little dogs that was hiding under the bed had passed away.
I'm sorry.
He looked like he was growling, showing his teeth with his mouth wide open. His eyes were huge, his tongue was sticking out, and it looked like Mike, he had died from straight fear.
Oh, poor dog.
I've never seen an animal look like that it had ever died, Mike. This thing looked like there was something under the bed, and this little dog looked like it was cornered, and it died from complete fear. Just from it hearing the howling, the rattling of the doorknob, and it sensing this beast outside. The poor little guy couldn't handle it. You know, that's a huge stress on a dog or even a human. I mean, that'd be a lot of stress on somebody.
Mhm.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I felt a wave of horror wash over me as I stared at the dog's body. What could have caused such extreme fear in an animal, you know? The teeth, he said, bared like that, its eyes bulging. That seared, he said, into my mind forever. He said Sally was sobbing uncontrollably, and I tried to comfort her because these little dogs, they are our children. We love our dogs to death. They are family.
Mhm.
The other dog was hiding, and it was whimpering, and I knew we had to get it from out from underneath the bed. And the weird thing is whenever we tried to pull him from under the bed, he had latched on and had bit onto the bedpost, and we almost had to pry his mouth off the bedpost to even get him out from underneath the bed.
Aw.
He was as stiff as a board, and he said he was in labored, heavy breathing.
So not just one puppy, but two puppies?
The other one did not die.
Oh,
They
okay.
they took it to
The vet?
the vet, yeah, and got him checked and everything. And the vet said that he was suffering from severe paranoia.
Oh, wow. Sorry, I didn't mean to make you jump ahead. I was just like,
No, it's sad. I mean, can you imagine? And to have to pry that dog's mouth off of the, you know,
oh, poor baby.
it's like he just latched on because he was just so scared that they didn't know what to do.
Poor little
Hmm.
puppy.
You know, makes you wonder, Harold, sometimes if when these things scream and howl, if it's not maybe a language to the other canines, that they understand something more than we do.
I was just thinking that too, and Darren says they have abilities to control the dogs, and
Or the infrasound,
yeah,
the high pitch frequency that only they could hear, it could have caused them to go into cardiac arrest.
hmm
And then one died and one survived. So
Dana Flexion, are they still in that house?
Yeah, they're actually still living there. I can't go into that yet. That's at the end, Dana.
Hi, Nanny Pam.
Hey,
Sorry,
Nanny Pam.
Hey, Nanny Pam, good to see you.
hope you feel better.
Yeah, get some rest.
Yeah, get some rest. We need you to be rested up for tomorrow night for the boots on the ground.
Sorry, I just happened to see your name pop up.
Oh yeah, everybody loves Nanny Pam.
Uh-huh.
She's a great woman.
Hey, CRC.
That's right. Dana's exactly right.
I was going to say it too.
Mhm.
All right, I think I got everybody thrown up here. I kind of like to share everybody when we do this, let everybody be a part of it. After that, it all happened. Stan said I just had this really deep fear for Ben. Then I was like, "Oh my God, is Ben okay?" You know, I've not believed him all this time, and now I've left him at his house, and I laughed at him. And you know, what is Ben truly going through, right?
Hmm.
And he's like, you know, I need to go check on Ben. So he said he decided to go check on Ben. And whenever I got there, I knocked on the door. And he said Ben wouldn't open the door, but I could hear him groaning and moaning in pain inside of the house. He sounded like he may have been having a heart attack. He said it was horrible sounding. He said, I felt an urge of concern for Ben's well being. What had happened to him? Was he okay? I called out to him through the door, Ben, it's Stan, you know, trying to get his attention. And I said, what's going on? Do you need some help? He said, I began to get really scared for him. He said, the groaning stopped, and for a moment there was silence. And then I heard Ben's weak voice say, Stan, go away. I'm fine. But I knew he wasn't fine. Something was wrong.
Sounds like he had a little hair of the dog.
Yeah. Yeah. I think at that point, if my friend is doing that, I'm kicking the door down and I'm going inside.
Right? Breaking a window, getting your fill in there. Yeah, I would
Yeah.
be.
Forced entry time.
Yeah.
He said, then I seen Ben's face.
Aw.
Romans 16, glad to have you as a member. And don't forget, the 3rd will be a members only video. It'll be for you guys. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
God bless you for that.
Amber's laughing at you.
He said, then I saw Ben's face. Ben was laying on the floor after I kicked the door open, like he had gotten hurt. But Ben was slobbering everywhere. I don't know if he was dehydrated, sick, but he said Ben had slobbered all over the floor. He had slobbered all over his face. It was dripping out of his beard. He was very sick, very pale looking. And he said, I'd never seen anybody sick like that. So I immediately called 911 and asked for an ambulance immediately. He said they arrived and they rushed him to the hospital. As I watched Ben being taken away, I couldn't shake off the feeling that something was terribly wrong with him. The slobbering and the groaning, it all seemed so unnatural to me. I'd never witnessed anything like that. And he said, to tell you the truth, I didn't want to go to the hospital because I was very messed up with this. He said, like, seeing him like that really bothered him. And when I was on the phone with him, you could tell, like, he didn't want to see no more of him. It was like, that was too much to see. It really bothered him.
And how long ago was this? That this happened? No.
It happened April 17th, 2025.
Okay.
Oh, that was like really recent.
Yeah.
Holy smoly.
He said, against everything that was in my body. Nanny Pam, thank you for that. You didn't need to do that. God bless you for that. But I would not rather you take care of yourself.
Oh.
And God bless you for sure. Hello, John Chalker. Good to see you also. Yeah, it is a werewolf story. It is for sure. So the doctor told me that whenever I arrived at the hospital that my friend Ben was not doing well. They had moved him to ICU, and he was placed in quarantine. Ben had tested positive for rabies,
Dana was right.
and they told me that he was terminal and that he would not survive this. Ben was going to die.
I'd like to have seen his X-rays.
Yeah, or his the tests and because I thought according to if that was a werewolf, according to everybody's other stories and what was told is that these things don't get rabies. They don't get those kinds of diseases.
So it might have been like a major hybrid, or even I guess not even that. Maybe even a lower hybrid. I mean, because if it's more dog than
Or maybe he was transforming and wasn't able to handle the transformation.
That's what it sounded like to me.
Or could these creatures be carriers of the disease, but it doesn't affect them?
no,
That's a
sure,
thought.
too, I guess. I mean, more dog than other creature. I don't know. That's just I'm sad now. Sad for Ben because rabies is no shitting joke, man.
Right.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Kind of like rabies and tetanus, you know.
Mm-hmm.
AI Nanny Pam, you do plenty. You couldn't do any more. You're truly a blessing to us.
Nanny Pam rocks. Oh, sorry.
So the doctor told him, your friend's going to die. And unfortunately, we can't allow you to even go in and talk to him to comfort him or anything because,
Wow.
they don't want you to get rabies and I did not know this, but the doctor told him there was a possibility that Ben could actually raise up and bite one of them.
I was just gonna say it. I hope
That's
Ben. I hope. Was it Stan? Is that his name? Stan didn't get anything from that, did he? I mean, did he touch him?
No, he's fine.
He can be okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I would be worried about that too. I would have been scared to death.
Yeah, because
I'd have been burning my shoes and everything. Nah, Pam, you do all the time. Don't even worry about it. Not even a worry. So he said, when somebody tells you that your lifelong friend is dying and you can't even go in and comfort him and he's around complete strangers, he said that's heartbreaking. He said, I could see him through the window and he was like convulsing in the bed. And he said, the nurses and the doctors were all around him and they had him tied down. And he said, that's hard to watch. And he said they finally were able to put him in a self-induced coma where he could sleep. Hello, Cubot. Good to see you. He said, I felt a wave of shock run over me and sadness. And, how did Ben contract rabies? Did this thing have rabies? And, he said, then it hit me, the werewolf. Ben had been feeding it and interacting with it. And, well, that's the only way I could figure that he could have got this is from all the bites it was giving him. He said, God knows what these things fight and what they eat in the wild and what bites them in the wild, and everything else. So, and like what Dana said, was they maybe trying to hide him? Was the doctors trying to hide something? Maybe the doctors knew that there was more going on than, because if they said he had rabies, they had already done blood work at this point, right?
Mm-hmm. They had to X-rays on his chest in case there was cardiac arrest. So
I'm sure they gave him every test in the book, really.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because doctors don't just like to give one test. Sorry, they just don't.
Wow, Amy, be careful with that. That rabies scares me to death. He said, as I sat in the little waiting room that they had to where I was able to observe him in his quarantine bed. The words he said just kept echoing in my mind, there's nothing we can do. And he said, I felt a sense of helplessness knowing that my friend was going to die a terrible death alone. Ben passed away a few days later. He passed away at night whenever Stan was unable to be there, and he really has a hard time with not being able to be there for his friend when his friend passed away. That bothers him really bad. He said, I wished I could have been there, but I couldn't leave Sally at home with that thing running around, He said, I knew Ben was safe. He was with people. Sally would have been, at home alone. And he said, I just couldn't leave her at home alone. It just, and I believe he done the right thing. I don't think he should have anything to regret. Whenever he went to the hospital to view the body, he said, I was not allowed to view the body because the coroner, they said, would need to pick the body up and it would have to be sanitized in order for me to be able to see the body. He said, which I thought was strange, but he said I didn't argue it, and I was not any kind of next of kin, so I had no rights to be able to see him. But he said the news hit me hard. My friend, my neighbor was gone. I couldn't help but think about the strange circumstances surrounding his death. The werewolf, the rabies, it just all seemed so surreal. After Ben's passing, things took a dark turn. The next night, I was laying in my bed and Sally was reading. Y'all ready for this? And that's when we both heard it. A dog-like voice mixed with a man's-like voice right at our window, because we keep our window up at night, said right through the screen at us, "Feed me, Stan. I'm hungry."
Oh, heck no.
Like, feed me, Seymour.
Yeah.
No. Let me tell you, if anything comes to our kitchen window and says, I'm shutting it, locking it, gluing it. I don't know.
I just tell them to go to Walmart.
Yeah. You're done.
Get that pew pew out. Sorry.
But he said it said in there, "Feed me, Stan. I'm hungry." So he said, I froze in bed. My heart was pounding. Sally's eyes, he said, were wide as the terriers that had died. He said we both knew that voice, or at least we knew what it was. It was the werewolf. Now, Mike, this is the weird thing. That voice, he said, remember what I'm telling you, that voice. I quickly shined my flashlight out the window, and I wish the F I didn't. What the hell I seen? I seen its effing face. Its face was hairy. It looked like a dog without a snout. It did not have a snout, but it had different teeth sitting almost into its face. It was so damn weird looking, and long pointed ears like a Doberman's ears. The creature's eyes reflected from the light of my flashlight like a dog's eyes would. And I felt a damn evil feeling come over me, and I could not believe what I was looking at. And that's whenever it said again, "Feed me, I'm hungry." I stood there frozen in terror as the creature's eyes locked onto mine. I knew I had to get back, but my feet felt heavy as I was rooted almost to the spot I was standing in. And suddenly the creature's eyes seemed to bore into me. And I heard the voice again, "Feed me, Stan, or I'm going to eat your wife." This time it was louder, more insistent. I knew I had to act fast or risk facing consequences of this creature coming in and killing us both. It then started running for the woods. I grabbed my 25-06 and I shot at it. But Mike, I want to stop right there and tell you this. This is the weird thing. The effing thing at my window was not, but resembled Ben and the voice mixed with the dog's.
I was just going to say it.
I can't say it was him, but it burned into me, and for some reason, I keep thinking that it was part him. It may not have been. It could have been this other thing trying to be him. I'm not sure if it was mimicking him or what.
Mm-hmm.
I stood there. My heart was racing. The 25-watt 6 is all I had. I didn't know if I hit the damn thing or not. I stood there. My heart was pounding in my chest as I watched the creature disappear into the darkness of the woods. I wasn't sure if I'd hit it, but I'd definitely given it a reason to think twice about coming back. As I stood there trying to catch my breath, I realized that things had just escalated to a whole new level.
Yep.
I wasn't just dealing with a strange creature. I was dealing with a potential threat to my life and to the life of my wife. We are now staying in a motel, and I'm not giving my location. I am scared to death that this thing will find us. We're barricaded at night, and we live like a bunch of people scared to death of the dark. We don't want to go back to our home, Mike. Things there are bad, really, really bad. And I needed to get this off of my chest, and I needed to find out what people think I should do. But all I'm going to say at this point is if you live on the Missouri-Oklahoma border, up in the northeast part, there are demons in the woods, and I will update you and the subscribers later as we decide what we're going to do.
Hey, Mike, how close do you live to Missouri? I'm sorry, I purchased this. I'm sorry.
Not real far.
Oh my God.
Not terribly far.
What? Well,
Yeah. I did a preliminary check just to do a quick check on the internet, and I didn't see anything that said about quarantining humans. Everything's to quarantine animals with rabies, but nothing about humans. And I wonder, what was the time frame from when he was originally bitten to the time that this happened?
That would be hard to know because he was getting bitten for so long. I mean, he was always bandaging up his arm.
Okay, so they must have been. See, and that's what's weird is it because well, how long does it take? I don't know how long it takes for rabies to actually spread. I would assume it would be pretty quick because it says a human can survive a few days to a week
weeks, right?
or two.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So if he had been getting bit for quite some time, yeah, I don't think that was rabies. My guess is that wasn't rabies.
I can tell you that he said that the doctor told him that whenever he died, he offered to pay the burial for his friend and everything, and the state cremated him, they said.
Oh, gee, really? That was nice of the doctor and the state to do that?
Well, they said he had no next of kin, and that was protocol for people that didn't have next of kin or a way to pay for burial is they're cremated.
But wait a second, if he offered, then what's the okay, yeah, that just makes me mad.
That sounds like close to another story that we discussed a few weeks ago.
Burn the evidence, as Belinda says.
Where the doctor was a little too involved in the patients.
Yeah. The vampire one.
Like I said, I would have wanted to see the x-rays of the chest.
Rabies can spread. Yes, they can. It's just, it has to go through the blood stream.
Yeah, it's through the saliva into the blood.
Into the blood. Yeah.
So I'm gonna share a story with you guys.
Oh my gosh.
I believe so, Amber. Yep.
Yeah. And the story I'm going to share with you guys. Okay, I witnessed this, so I can't confirm all of it, but there was two gentlemen at the time that were on a like we're doing here. It was a StreamYard, but we were having a meeting, and gosh, this fly is like determined to fly up my nose. I guess it wants a booger. But You know, they. I know he's trying to get the best ones too. The ones in the
Oh
front are the crunchy
gosh.
ones. I saved them for me. But
Oh.
but anyways, they were they were on a live with me, or not a live. It was a meeting. It was a meeting was having. One of the gentlemen that was in the meeting said that he would go to people's houses and would help them get rid of cryptids for free. Him and his team that he allegedly had. I cannot confirm nor deny if he had a team or if he even done it. Now, he did send me a photograph of his knee that had a huge gash taken out of it. I mean, it was bad. And he said he was out on an investigation, getting rid of, a creature for this family, and something bit him out in the tall brush. Later on, we had another call like that, and he believed that he was turning into a werewolf. And he was very adamant about it. To the point to where he told me he was waking up in the woods on his motorcycle at night, not knowing how he had got there, with dead animals laying all around him. So, as time progressed, I received a phone call from his wife, and his wife said that she wanted him to stop participating in cryptids. And the reason she wanted him to stop participating is because she thought it was causing him to become delusional or crazy. And she said the other night he had never laid his hand on their daughter ever in his life. He spoiled her like that was his little girl. And for some reason, he was sitting in his recliner. Their little pet dog goes running through the front room. He growls, barks, picks the dog up, and starts biting it, trying to eat it. And she said, I screamed at him, "What are you doing?" And he threw the dog against the wall and shoved his daughter down and went to the bedroom. Well, as time progressed, we were having another chat, and him and this other gentleman got in an argument. And he told this other guy that he had transformed into a werewolf and he had traveled to his house down the railroad tracks. At this point, I'm just listening to the story, right? Because I don't know where these guys live exactly. I just know what state. And whenever the other gentleman mentions that the night before he saw what he thought was a werewolf standing at the railroad tracks behind his house, and proceeds to tell this other guy, if that was you, it's going to be a bad thing for you. Well, the other guy says on the call, I went into your house and I was going to attack you and bite you, but your dog is the only thing that saved you. And the other guy's like, you're so full of, you didn't come to my house. You're a lying SOB. You're crazy. You ought to be locked up. And I mean, they're at each other. Mm-hmm. And then he says, oh, yeah, I can tell you how many steps is from the bottom of your house up to your second story. And remember, we're live. We're on a live call.
Wow.
And he's like, prove it. And he says, I can't remember the exact number, but we'll say like 17. He's like, 17. And the guy on the live says, hold on, Mike. We're going to see about this, And he goes all the way down the steps and he's like, 1, 2, 3, filming it for us while he's walking up. 17. Then the guy tells him what clock is in his bedroom above his bed and describes that clock to a T. And he shows us.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Later on, the gentleman that was on the call with me vanished. Totally vanished. I caught him a few months later. He was on another live on another show using an alias name, but I recognized his voice, and he was still saying that he is this werewolf hunter. True story.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
heard him tell me this story several times, so that hasn't changed. Hmm.
I wish at the time, because I had just started doing lives and stuff, I wish at the time I would have understood StreamYard better, and I would have bought the package to where it would have recorded those meetings. That would have been really something to have.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's a good thing you don't have it.
Yeah. I mean, it was just so. I mean, Amber, I don't know. I know that his wife, whenever she called me, she was crying and upset. I mean, they were talking divorce because, I mean, when your husband picks the family dog up and tries to eat it in front of everybody
Ew.
and, shoves the daughter down on the ground, I mean, there's something going on.
Yeah. Possessed? Oh.
Very good possibility. Or an attachment. Did he go dabble in something that he shouldn't have and he got an attachment, or did he get possessed, or I mean, we can even go down the rabbit hole and say, was he bit and was he really changing?
Dana affliction. Yeah, the where man, whatever. Yeah, but he was the one that disappeared and then showed back up.
I mean, the injury. Okay, we'll go a little bit further. I'm going to go down the rabbit hole. I probably shouldn't do this, but I'm going to because I think it's important to the story.
Squirrel.
Oh, and what Sunshine says.
That's where we're headed, Sunshine. So this gentleman started sending photographs of his chest, stomach, back, arms, legs.
Did he look like a woolly booger?
He did have more hair. He did become hairier. That is true. I saw those. Sunshine saw those. I didn't want to say nothing about Sunshine because I didn't know how far I could go into that, but he had grown more hair. I don't know if he had. Now, he could have done it himself to trick us. I'm not saying that this dude was a werewolf. I'm saying what was presented to me, what I seen. There was more hair. So I decided to investigate further. And as I investigated, I found that his life had took a huge turn. He was very Christian whenever I would talk to him before. He was, very clean, he ran a business, had a huge ranch. This guy's got money. And as I had dove into his background and did what I did best, investigated him, his life had took a change to where he was now tattooing snakes on himself, spiders. He had huge spiders on him. Other things that could be considered dark magic tattoos. And he had become obsessed with snakes and had real snakes in his house crawling all over him and pictures and total transformation.
At any point, was he wearing a medallion?
I didn't see a medallion, but there was a tattoo that was a 5-point with a goat's head.
What kind of a medallion are you talking about, Harold?
The one that would ward off your transformation.
Okay, Harold, come on.
Well,
Melinda, maybe.
if someone is bitten by a werewolf, they can go to a witch or a witch doctor and be given a medallion that supposedly wards off the transformation as long as you wear the medallion. It's in the movies, but it's also in real life.
Like the moonstone that they talk
Mhm.
about in the TV shows.
Yeah.
As Sunshine says, some of the conversations that were had, he was forming what he called a pack of others like him.
So the others more than likely had to have known how to keep from transforming to cover it up.
You know,
Which, you know, if he still claims to this day now, because I believe he was just recently on another show recently. If he's claiming that he is a werewolf hunter, what is he hunting them down for now?
Blood.
yeah,
Or
is it to get rid of them or is it to grow the pack?
right.
Or is it to, yeah. But why wouldn't he be hunting more people to make a bigger pack? I don't know if that's even a possibility. Like people that aren't.
Yeah,
Does that
Amber,
make
that's
sense?
like the Ruby
I don't
rule.
know.
Well, you still have to keep things on a down low. I mean, there's enough people. I mean, there's so many people out there that don't even believe in this stuff to begin with, let alone start transforming everybody and everybody. I mean,
He rejected God. I like what Dana just said.
You know,
bottom line.
people talk about, I was invited to do an investigation of a haunted church that also served as a private school for children, Christian school. And, a lot of people think that, too many movies and stuff. And I thought that myself for a while until you really start diving into the darkness. Growing up in the area that I live in is very heavy for devil worshiping, always has been. We have an actual island out here that was dedicated for that, where I know a guy that was shot in the head just for going out there fishing. It's a really bad place, and they do their doorways, where they paint them and they do their sacrifices, and they say they open the doors and demons come into to our world, and they do all their stuff out there. It's all there, and it's not a place that a lot of people like to go. I've been there, but a lot of people don't like to go there. But whenever I went to that church, I thought that it might have been some scared kids because the kids were talking about seeing a woman walking up and down the hallway. Now this is not a big church, okay? This is a old country looking church. It's got try to explain it. You have the big part of the church with the big steeple, and then you have the small add-on addition that's long from it where your school classrooms would be. So we was there, and while we were there investigating, we was in the back classroom where the kids had said they had saw this lady the most. And all of a sudden, Glory, Glory, Hallelujah starts playing on the piano. And you all know that I carry 24/7. So I told her I would go first, and I cleared all the way up to the main worship room where the piano was at. Nobody there. So my second thought is this is one of them pianos that plays by itself. And it wasn't. So I thought, that's really strange. Well, in this same area, this lady that had took me there had also, her and her family lived close to this place because her dad was the preacher. That's how I got permission to be there. And they all lived close to the church. What she had witnessed when all this had started, there was a house down on this road, large, like 2-story home, large 2-story home. She said that she had witnessed a Bigfoot jump off the back side of that house, land on the ground, and run off into the woods. Now, some kids in the area that we had spoke to also had said that they had been playing outside and that they had seen what they described as monkeys playing in the trees in the woods part, making monkey noises, throwing pecans at them out of the pecan trees at the kids. I went down, investigated that place and several other places. Of course, rebuked it, in Jesus' name. Always do that. And after we had done that, there's no further incidents.
We have a church down the road from us, a really old church, and it's on somebody's property. It's right in front of their house, and the roof's caving in on one side, and this place looks pretty old.
Very creepy.
Yeah. One of these days, I'm gonna get the guts to go down there and see if they'll
let us look at it and set up voice recorder things and do. Yeah. We just want to see.
That was one of the hardest things for me when I started investigating this stuff, was like going up to people and saying, "Are you having any Bigfoot problems? Could I search around your house?" Because you just wait. You wait for them to look at you and be like, "So have you had a 72-hour evaluation?" But it makes you really like it's hard to ask, isn't it? I mean, I find it hard to ask.
Yeah. Well, in my mind, because I overthink everything, I'm like, okay, do I say exactly what Harold does for a living? Am I going to get like, what the? What Bigfoot? There ain't no such thing as Bigfoot, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
What I have found works best is when somebody asks you what you do, is to say, "I am a cryptozoologist investigator."
Yeah, I always say cryptid investigator.
And then they just look at you like, what?
I look for animals that have not yet been discovered. It's no different than somebody going out looking for butterflies or spotted owls or, something else.
Yep.
Pterodactyls. Or, little things from Star Trek that people may draw that they want you to tell stories about. Or, I mean, you never know.
Star Trek, you mean Trolls?
Oh, yeah, that one too.
Or you mean Harry Potter?
Yeah. Yeah, you get some of those freaks out there, man. They want you to tell a lot of stories, and they show up at conferences to spy and want you to tell their stories, so you have to be careful.
Or the fish in the ocean.
But, a lot of times, Harold, I get people that will reach out to me and say, this is happening at my property. You're welcome to come down. And because a lot of people, to where we find it fascinating, a lot of people don't want it there. They're like, "Can you get rid of this?" I mean, they're like, "I don't care if you come out here," because to them, I think it gives them a sense of security to know, okay, we're going to bed tonight, and thank God we got some crazy enough people to go out there and be, to be bait for us tonight, so we can sleep. And if we hear gunshots and screaming, then we'll know something came up.
Have fun with that this weekend, Harold.
Yeah, I mean, because
he wants to go so bad. He wanted to go today. He wants to go tomorrow. He wants to go Saturday.
Yeah. Well, even whenever I was a kid at Granny's house, we would call the sheriff's department when that thing would show up. We wanted somebody there, somebody outside, somebody checking, somebody that would run into it, somebody that would get rid of it, So I know what those people have to be feeling, are looking for help. And a lot of departments, they're understaffed, overworked, and they'll tell you, we can come out there and we can spotlight around, but we can't stay because we got other calls going on. And, it could be an hour before they get there, or they may get their spotlight and leave, and whatever was out there, it's done and ran and hid. So as soon as they leave, it comes back, and you call them back and like, well, it's back. And 9 times out of 10, what they're going to tell you, lock your windows, lock your doors, and don't let it come in.
Yep.
And you're going to have to stay there all night long with something rattling your doorknob, howling, beating on your house, and people don't have anybody to call for help.
Ghostbuster. Oh, sorry.
I mean, if I had the ability and had a van and the equipment and could travel, I would help people as much as I could. I would love to go out and investigate to try to find out why these things are there. What are they doing? Where do they come from? Why are they beating on the house? I mean, are they beating on the house to scare you, or are they beating on your house to communicate with the other one that's out there to say, I'm on this side? Why are they doing that?
Yep.
It's so funny you mentioned that. Having a vehicle and going out and doing this stuff. Believe it or not, about 1.5 miles down the road from us is a gas station. And sitting outside the gas station alongside the road is a motorhome, or a driving motorhome. And we actually stopped the other day to see how much they were actually asking for it. And then, of course, Harold and Colton get out and look at it and all that stuff. And Harold comes back. He goes, it would make a good Squatchmobile.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be like glamping in my style, I guess, in my brain. And he goes, and then Colton, his ADHD, OCD brain goes, Mom, it's going to need to get fixed. It has this, and this, from what I can tell, wrong with it already. So his brain went to fixing it. Harold's like, let's make it a Squatchmobile and paint a Sasquatch on the side of it. And I'm thinking, I have to drive this thing.
I've had that conversation with Jesse quite a bit, and one of my things is I want something that ain't got real big windows around it.
Mm-hmm.
But then I want something that if somebody is riding with you, they can still, not just feel like they're caged in the back and they can't see out,
Right.
It's kind of like, how do you do that? What vehicle meets that criteria to where, if somebody's with you, they're not missing the views and the sights, and they feel like, they've been picked up by the dog catcher and you're like calling them around.
So, go ahead, Jess. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I said there's ways to add on and put things on it to it so that it's more secure, and cover the windows at night with steel, like the zombie apocalypse thing. You've got the big metal shutters that come down and will seal up. And
oh my goodness,
I'm fine with the way it looks as long as I have my platform on top where I can just sit up there all night.
And then the people down from you, they walk over to you and they're like, should we not be camping here? you start looking like the guy off of Tremors, walking out there with your 50 caliber.
Mad Max Mobile.
Yeah, up there with my 50 caliber.
Oh,
they're coming.
Yeah. Christy, little to the left with the bacon.
Not fun.
yeah, sure, you can camp right there. It's just a deterrent for whenever they finally come heading this way. Comes through you.
I was looking for a van, a 4-wheel drive van. Good luck.
Do you make them?
Well, they do, but man, they're far and and if you find one, they're outrageous. And then you ask yourself, would I need a 4-wheel drive? Probably. I mean, Harold, I think one of the best things it comes down to, and what I don't like about it, you could go with a 3/4 ton truck and put a camper shell on it, right? But the bad thing is, if they attack your vehicle like they did me that night and they start shaking it, to be able to drive out of there, somebody's got to crawl out of the back of the truck and go to the driver's seat without being able to enter it from the inside.
Not unless you get a newer truck that has the thing that the back window that pops out or however that is. Have you seen those?
I haven't seen that.
Oh my gosh, what was it? I can't even remember, but the back window pops out, and so that you can extend the bed from all the way to the back of the bed of the truck to like the back of the back seat. Because it's like a four-door kind of vehicle, but the seats fall down and then the back window pops out or pops in or whatever. You can take it off or out or whatever. I've seen them. Google it. I seriously have seen them.
Could be like my dad. He bought a 1974 Ford Ranger. Okay. And it was all beat up. It was somebody's work truck, and he's like, I'm going to turn this into a camper. Well, he fabricated the entire camper for the back, all out of fiberglass and plywood and 2x4s. He cut a big hole in the back of it so that we'd have the ability to go from the front to the back and vice versa. Had a sleeper on top. And carried 7 of us. So we traveled from Iowa to California to Texas, back to California, back to Iowa, about 3 times.
Man, I wish your dad was still here. That's all I'm saying. On to that story.
You know, I don't know what would be the ideal vehicle. I mean,
oh, essentially the ideal vehicle. Unfortunately, it's like what, $300,000.
Yeah. We could get one of those Alaskan hunting trucks they use up there. You know, it's bulletproof and used to be like an armored car and 4-wheel drive. And
their wheels or tires are as big as like quarry truck tires.
Yeah. and then you can't afford the gas to drive it.
Yeah.
Gas or diesel.
Sorry, imagine that thing driving down the road.
Probably neither.
High octane.
But I thought that a van, is what I was looking at. But you don't have that 4-wheel drive. And if you're getting off road and it starts raining, because, a lot of these things do happen right before a storm, you don't want to pull out before a storm because you might get stuck. So, I mean, I don't know what you would.
Yeah, pretty much Roman's polar bear proof.
I was going to say it too. Yeah.
And I don't think, Larry, thank you so much for that. And God bless you. And God bless you, Lisa Ann, again for that. I don't think that you would want, an ambulance being, Jesse talked about that also. And ambulances, believe it or not, are pretty expensive. And I don't think they're 4-wheel drive. I think they're, F-350s is what they are?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. And a school bus isn't 4-wheel drive either.
And, I was thinking a school bus would be really hard to get in and out of locations. And if you wanted to go uptown and get a burger or something, you show up in this big school bus with Bigfoots all over it, barricaded windows, and Harold sitting on top in a chair.
That's the lampoons, baby.
I was just thinking too.
I reckon we're looking for Bigfoot. Mm-hmm.
Oh, 15 burgers to go.
Yeah. they're on the house. I don't know what would be the. I mean, one person in chat mentioned a station wagon, being 4-wheel drive. The only bad thing is you don't have a lot of clearance for going over things.
Right.
And I sure don't want to get out there and get high centered.
Yeah, I don't.
Harry and the Hendersons.
Yeah, get out and push. Mine would probably be more like the Lampoon Vacation.
Hey, Sparky.
That was one tough little station wagon.
It had what, like 8 headlights?
Yeah.
Oh, 10 out of 10, your goal was reached. What? Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That was the first time. Thank you, everybody, for that. We appreciate that very much.
Oh, I missed him. What? Cool. Oh.
Um,
Wow.
I guess the search is on for the right vehicle because I do want to do that and I do want to travel, but you want to do it safely. I mean, if you start staying in hot spots, I mean, just my Durango that night, whatever that was shaking it, that was scary. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I was wishing that my windows were barricaded because didn't somebody say they saw something looking in my window? I never seen it, but somebody said that something was looking in my window, like beside me.
I sent you the video.
Yeah, I think she sent me the video. So, I mean,
I'm going to stop sending you videos. You don't even look at them.
The one guy that we know, he goes by the Bigfoot King. He actually is building himself a Squatchmobile, so to speak. He says that he has the ability to put hydraulic stakes into the ground that are attached to the vehicle.
Oh, like they do like in the tornado movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
oh, wow.
Or like
Drill in.
that, or I was gonna say
Cool.
like campers. They have.
I think certain other travel trucks. I think I saw that on like a construction truck. They did that too.
Kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
An ambulance, other than not being 4-wheel drive, would almost be perfect because look at all the storage you have on the exterior for equipment.
You're really sitting there thinking about this. So your brain is just going 100,000 miles a minute.
Oh yeah.
But then whenever you lay down and go to bed at night, you have to wonder how many people laid there and died too inside of the ambulance.
Okay, yeah, let's not go there.
Well,
Well, if you don't go there now, you're going to be thinking about it later, and then it's too late.
Yeah.
You end up waking up during the middle of the night and you see a guy standing there with like a motorcycle helmet on looking at you. I think we need to sell this one to the neighbors.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, the storage would be awesome in there.
Yes, Amber.
And you also have the exterior lights too. Bright exterior lights, that they use for accident scenes. I just don't know that.
Amber says she has an F-250 crew cab, 4-wheel drive. She'll sell you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll put the check in the mail and
Don't catch it for a long time, Amber.
everybody will be calling me the other channels that give stuff away and never send it. They're like, don't put that in chat. I didn't send that to you. Send that privately. You're making me look bad. But put your name in green, though. We want your money. But it's just, yeah. So, Harold, what kind of drone do you have? That's what I was interested in earlier when you mentioned drone.
Do you want me to go get it?
Yeah.
If I can find it.
It's one of the small ones that has 2 cameras.
Ooh.
It's got the adjustable camera, so you can adjust it from looking down, forward, and up. And then on the bottom side, it has the high resolution camera where you get a wide view.
What's your range on it? Because I don't know if I didn't charge mine up all the way the other day, but whenever I took mine up, I couldn't go real far away from me. It was maybe 200 yards, but it wasn't completely charged.
It's just the box.
I think that is maybe the exact one I have.
Yeah. Let's see. There it is. 2.4 gigahertz manipulate 360-degree flip, 6-axis, headless mode, 1-key return, fixed high, HD camera, and avoidance.
That is.
It goes. I think the top, the highest it goes is probably 35 feet. So it doesn't go really high.
But that was an I love you present.
Well,
The
that.
I don't remember what the range is on it.
That and his night vision goggles.
Of course, I can't read Chinese.
Do you want me to?
Choking hazard. Okay.
There's a
No.
choking hazard on it, y'all.
Don't be chewing on it.
No, that'll be Dogman's job.
Oh Lord.
I'll be flying it, and all of a sudden I see.
Dogman will grab it, choke to death on it.
That would make for a very interesting video, wouldn't it not?
I'd be yelling, I hope you choke out a blade.
Oh, you're mean. Do you need me to do that for you?
My
My
say anything about. Of course, it's all covered up. I don't know. I don't have the.
You don't have the. You want me to
Manual.
get that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I know it has at least 200 yards. It also has if it goes out of range, it'll automatically land.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow!
Like safely land, or
Yeah.
it'll land like crash land.
It'll find the nearest flat spot.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then is
That'd
there a
be
tracker
nice.
so that you can actually find it at that point?
Yeah. On the remote, you can hook your phone up to it, so you can fly it that way. Which, when you hook your phone up to the joystick, all the controls are reversed. So if you're wanting to go forward, you got to pull backwards.
I hate that. I always had to change that on my video games.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
It takes some getting used to, especially if you're wanting to do all the flips and all that.
No, I can't do that. No, I just the main thing I wanted to do is be able just to get an aerial, a view from up high.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This has where you can go the full distance, and then you just flip a little switch, and without having to turn around, it flies back in your direction. So,
it makes me wonder. Do you ever watch a channel called Kendall Gray? You ever heard of him?
heard of them, but I don't think I've watched.
If you ever get a chance, watch Kendall Gray and look at his drone. It'll make you slobber. You'll be slobbering like that guy was tonight. He has a drone that has IR on it, night vision on it. He can take pictures of things. I mean, he can actually find squirrels in trees at nighttime.
Oh yeah.
And I think he said he can fly it as far as a mile away from him and 500 feet. But he paid an outrageous. He's one of the YouTube channels, that made it really big.
It's actually kind of cool looking. I haven't got a chance to fly it yet, but
Yeah.
very good.
No, it comes out.
Oh.
It's the battery pack. Let's see.
I've been wanting to fly mine over water, but I'm not brave enough yet.
You see, it has the.
Oh, okay.
And then underneath you have the high resolution. It doesn't stay charged very long. That's the downside of it.
Right.
Hi, Dana.
You can fly it for maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things with drones is a lot of them don't have a lot of flight time.
Yeah. And then you have your controller, which without putting the phone in. And then
Looks like an Xbox controller.
pretty much. And then if you want to put the phone in,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You need to get you a kid that plays games all day to fly it for you. Be like a pro.
Oh, did I just do that? He likes to play video games.
Colton likes to fly it, so he's pretty good at it.
I'm okay with mine, but I'm not confident enough to where I would take it into trees and over water and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's waterproof
So is that what you needed? That's what I saw. So
or tree proof.
or tree proof, or
Yeah, this has automatic stop. If it comes anywhere near an object, it'll stop. So
that's what you needed, Mike.
No power lines or houses.
or
Right.
trees, or
it has a sensor that senses around the perimeter of it. So if it gets anywhere near anything gets inside that sensor's range, it stops.
Oh wow!
Like a bird flies in front of it, it's going to stop.
So you're not going to be hacking a bird up during flight. That'll be good.
leave the blue jays alone.
Chicken hawk sweeps down and grabs it.
Chicken walk.
Yeah, I don't want to be having to put marks on it like, oh, one bird.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I've seen videos where they've attacked drones before.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Flight control. 1 button takeoff, 1 button landing.
Does it take batteries?
Yeah. Yeah, the controller takes the batteries, and then your drone has a rechargeable battery, which is not in it right now. I have it charging. You have to charge it for quite a while, otherwise you're not going to have the juice.
That's the way mine is. Mine came with 2, but man, it drains them fast.
Yeah. Mine only came with 1. That's what I didn't like. Let's see. Range. Oh. Okay.
What are you humming?
360.
Oh, sorry.
She's like, find it already. I guess I really never looked at it, so I bought it for him, and I was like, here's your toy.
They're fun to fly. I mean, I had a ball with it. It's just I get really nervous and I'm going to crash it.
Like you blew it up? I mean, sorry.
2 of them. Yeah, once you crash them, that's it.
They're not indestructible. Is that the word?
If your drone goes out of control, all there is, all you have to do is press. You have these buttons here.
Up, down, down, left, right, left, right.
Yeah, so all you have to do is tap it once if you want it to stay up, and it'll correct itself and hover.
That's cool.
Yeah. Then, of course, you have your landing button, your takeoff button.
See, I'm learning so much about it already, and I guess I'm...
And
they recommend that you have a small flat surface
to take it off.
Like instead of landing it directly on the ground, like you have like a landing pad.
You know where I landed mine when I was out? I landed it on the hood of my vehicle.
Oh yeah, cool. I could see myself doing that. Oh, where's the range?
I don't know. Here, let me see if I can smell it out.
Yeah, Belinda, it looks like as people chat through the evening, through the live, their experience points goes up. Cause, sorry, I was talking to Belinda. Oh, cause,
Yeah,
oh, I guess Christy was kicked out of second place. Belinda's back in second place. And we have Dana Affliction in third, and Emmy Tongue is still in first.
But what is it going to do tomorrow night on the Boots on the Ground?
I feel like, what's that song? And we
Our
got
our next Thursday breakdown is going to surprise everybody. Let's just say that it kind of goes with a movie that could have some truth. It could have some truth to it.
Babes, I'm not seeing it.
That's any
That could
movie.
be any movie, right?
Right?
Even though I'm
Okay. Let me give you all
Armageddon or
Okay,
Independence Day or
here's a hint. Here's a hint. Michael.
Oh my gosh.
Halloween? Huh?
They hung off a bridge.
I don't get into horror movies.
The
So
Lost Boys.
I'm right there with you, Christy.
I don't do horror movies, so
The
I
Lost
have
Boys.
no idea.
The Lost
Harold nailed it.
Oh, yeah.
Kiefer Sutherland.
Yep.
Yeah.
You would know. That's not even fair. It's not
One of
even
my favorite
credible.
Tyler says, "My
Kiefer
precious."
Sutherland fan. So.
My precious.
Oh my goodness.
Give me back that ring.
Michael, you like worms? You're eating worms, Michael.
Yep.
Stop it.
That's a good one. I love that show.
Now I guess I need to watch that.
We just need to go away and not. I don't know. I don't do horror movies.
My favorite part is when he goes to the beach and he first meets all those guys, and you got the guy playing the instrument, jamming.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Well, they argue about that movie, and they say that actually Michael was the bad guy in the movie, that it was all his fault because he was the one that antagonized everything.
Nanny Pam wants to know the name of your drone.
It is a brushless E88 Pro drone, 5G loss prevention.
I don't know where I put mine, or I'd show you. I don't even know where mine's at. It's over there.
Did you hear him, Nanny Pam? I hope you heard him. You've never seen The Lost Boys? Oh, that was to you, Jess. I'm sorry.
No, I've never seen The Lost Boys. I was, you know what? Again, the scariest movies that I watched growing up was Monster Squad. I think I saw Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But Monster Squad was like the typical monsters movie stuff I watch. I did not watch scary stories. I did not watch scary movies.
Boy, you watched the real scary ones, didn't you?
I learned everything I needed to know about monsters from the Monster Squad. Did you know Wolfman's got nards?
Hey, I like the crypt keeper.
Yeah.
Oh, I used to watch. I'd try and watch that when my parents weren't realizing I was watching it.
I used to do the laugh all the time.
Yeah.
Do it no more.
No, scary.
Jason.
Oh no, I'm thinking another scary movie. I did see Scary Movie. Wait.
See, now Cammie would
Scream.
Cammie would be the one to ask about the horror movies and the scary movies and stuff like that. But I never got into them.
Yeah, I never watched Scary Movie. I'm a Mel Brooks fan, so when they came out with those other parodies on other movies, it just was not the same. I'm Mel Brooks all the way.
I go all out on Friday the 13th. It's not Friday the 13th, it's Voorhees Day.
He's got a shirt, he's got pajama bottoms, he's got
I used to have
Jason mask.
I used to have the actual not the one from actually from the movie, but the one that was it was made like the one in the movie.
Oh, wow.
I used to wear it every Friday the 13th, no matter where I was.
Jason.
Pray for me.
I actually dressed up as Jason one Halloween when I first got into watching Friday the 13th, and I went all out. I went and got the outfit that he wore in part 6.
Oh, wow.
And I found an exact replica of his outfit. And I sat on my front porch. My little brother was using a cassette player and playing some Halloween music. You know, we even had the Friday the 13th theme song and everything. It's playing that, and I'm sitting on a bench, and I'm just sitting still, not moving, and this bunch of kids, they walk up on the porch, and we have our porch light off, right? You know, and the mom's like, "Aren't we not supposed to go up here if the porch light is off?" And they're like, "But they have candy sitting out. Look, it's in the pumpkin." So I'm sitting there, and this one kid grabs some candy, and then he walks over towards me, and the mom's helping the younger kids get candy out, and the kid leans forward and looks in my eyes, and I'm like just staring like this, and he looks closer, and he goes, and he jumps back, he goes, mom, I think he's real. So I go and oh no, and she grabs me. They're running down the street, and I get up and I turn, and I do the classic walk, and I walk all the way down the driveway, and I stand in the driveway, and I've got my fake machete, and I'm letting it glare in the light, and the mom's looking back, let's go, and the kids are screaming, and then I start walking towards them slowly, and then I go into the run. By the time I get into the run, they were around the corner and going down the next block.
Happy Halloween, kids.
Have you ever seen those videos? I crack up whenever I see him. That guy that dresses up like Mike Myers.
Oh yeah.
I mean, obviously it's set up, but the wife is always like, "Stop it! Get your butt in the car! Get home!"
Have you seen the ones now where he's got his child?
Yeah, and they're in the grocery store, and his kid's like,
the very first one, Kevin Bacon, poor guy.
"Huh?
Kevin Bacon was in the first one.
Oh, I never saw the movies. I just know who Mike. Oh wait, I think I did see the first one.
Yeah, I think he stuck the arrow whip through him, didn't he? Through the bed.
My favorite is Friday the 13th, part 7. I think it was 7. Corkscrew.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plays the piano too.
That had what was his name? Christian.
Slater?
No, not Slater. He's not an actor anymore. He's being sued for something, but
I think I've seen.
I forget him, but yeah, he was the one that got the corkscrew, and he got.
Good night, Victoria.
He got it in the hands, and then he got it right there.
Go to sleep.
Yeah, we've been on for almost 3 hours.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was gonna let Harold and them tell everybody about what they're going to be doing, because I bet you Christy didn't even notice. Christy, 2 hours, 43 minutes.
Oh, I've noticed.
Oh, okay.
Have you not noticed me sitting here yawning? But
I know a guy that done that the other night. He said he was looking for something on his cell phone and fell asleep for like 30 minutes. He was like, and everybody was laughing.
So that's what's going on. Just remember that I'm still there's still time for the giveaway. You have until the 1st at 11:59 p.m. to register or to get entered into the Welcome to CRJ Designs family, and you could possibly win a set of wood burned coasters. So you can either find me on my email or my YouTube page. My email is listed there, and then or my personal Facebook at Christy Jurina, and then just private message me. So you guys want to do that? It's gonna be awesome.
Yep. And me, I'm gonna be flipping out tomorrow because I'm gonna be looking for my equipment and batteries to put in it.
Lord. So are y'all gonna? Oh yeah, you're not doing a nighttime, so you're doing a daytime.
Right.
Yeah, for the time being, we'll start in the day.
Cool.
This is just the preliminary, the talk to them, the scouting. Make sure that if we're on their property, the cops ain't gonna be called for trespassing and all that stuff, and try to make it all legal like and all that. Yep. Yeah. So we're gonna go and visit and see what we can't see for the preliminary.
Because I'm pretty sure the laws on that, Mike, where you have to have the permission slip.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So gonna try to make it legal like.
If they give you permission, you have to have a permission slip to be on their property. You can't just in case the neighbors call.
It's recommended that you have a permission slip to cover you legally, and you carry it like in your wallet, and that way, all you have to do is hand that to the officer, and then they call the number, and they talk to the landowners.
Yeah, they're getting pretty strict on drones.
Yeah.
But we found out that not only does this person live on, was it 40 acres, right? Mm-hmm. Am I saying this right? But there's 40 acres on another side of them and another 40 acres on the other side of them untouched. So I'm almost tempted to ask him if that a portion of that 40 acres is for sale, because we're thinking about finding a different location for my trailer house, but that's totally dope.
Yeah, that way all I have to do is start up my camera and be like, "Welcome to OCST, let's go."
Right.
Careful what you wish for.
I haven't seen Christy in about 3 days.
Camping in my own backyard, 50 acres away from my front.
Right.
Thank you for that donation, Attraction Power.
I'll set up communication with her. I'll have the tin cans and the wire.
Oh Lord.
Oh yeah. Attraction Power. Thank you for that. God bless you for that.
You're awesome.
Be like, what's for dinner?
Ooh, here we go. Qbot's going to come on some night and tell us some stories about her living in a real funeral home.
That would be awesome. That would be
Qbot.
So great.
I bet you do have some stories.
Oh yeah, send me an email, Qbot, and we'll get that set up. I'd love to hear those.
Mm-hmm.
That would be epic.
Where Qbot is actually going to come on, and Qbot, you're going to actually tell him. That would be awesome. We're going to have to listen to Mike talk all night.
Yeah, she's going to come on. You know what the good thing is, guys? We can do this, and we don't even have to be bothered. See?
You're mean.
One of these days.
Now, if they only made one of those in real life.
One of these days.
I'm not going to go there. I've got Jesse's back. You better watch it.
Oh Lord!
Just remember, Cornbread, I am closer to you than Jesse is.
Yeah, I know.
Are you for hire?
What, 2.5 hours to get to roughly your location?
How much would it cost for me to pay you to go over there and give him a kick in the ass?
if Harold ends up missing, then I'll know she's on the way.
Harold, how much would it cost for me to pay you to keep your mouth shut?
Hey, we travel together. There's no way I'm going to go up to the northeastern part of this state alone.
You was looking for a vehicle, right, Harold? 4-wheel drive? Well, guys, I'm going to let you all run. I'm tired. We're almost hitting 3 hours.
Yeah.
I appreciate y'all coming on though,
All right.
and
And as always.
we'll jump into something probably next week. I got to go out boots on the ground tomorrow, and we got rain coming and everything, so that's going to be interesting trying to find a spot with all this flooded areas. I worry about falling off into something is one of my fears out there also.
Mm-hmm.
They ought to be able to find me though, as many lights I got stuck to me, so that should be a good thing. So all they got to do is fly the chopper over. Yeah, we've got a bright light down here, latitude, longitude.
Well, maybe if you fall in somewhere, maybe that orb will come and pull you out.
Live.
Action right there. Mike gets abducted live. That'll go viral.
Oh, Michelle must have just woke up from our laughing.
Hey, Michelle.
Hey, Michelle.
Good night, Emmy.
All right, guys, I'm going to let you all run, and we're going to wrap this one up. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it, and it's always fun.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
You're welcome. Thank you
Take
for
it
having
easy.
us.
Anytime. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Oh, it's a long one tonight, but we had fun. I had a lot of fun
Yeah.
tonight.
Lots of good information.
Yeah,
Lots
I
of good
think so.
comments. Mhm.
I think we had a lot of good stories. I may put this one on Spotify. I don't know.
I think you should.
I mean, where else can you hear about a guy trying to eat the dog, right?
Right. I wonder if it'll get back to him.
We didn't use his name, so he's good. He's good. Well, you want to walk us out of this one, and we will shut this one down. And I still got to go out boots on the ground tomorrow night.
Hey, are you going boots on the ground tomorrow night?
Friday night, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we're gonna give it a shot. Maybe swimming. I don't know.
So, yeah. Well, everybody, thank you for being here. Thank you for when's the next live? Judy wants to know. That'd be
Tomorrow night. Tomorrow
Boots
night
on
at
the
8.
ground.
Yep, tomorrow night at 8:45.
Questions. What happened with Segador?
No, nothing. Segador's good.
Yeah.
He just comes in from time to time. He's not a permanent. He just steps in and co-hosts with us whenever we need him or we have something special going on.
Mm-hmm. So, no more questions? We're all good. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you, everybody that actually managed to stay awake and stick it through tonight. It was a long one. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for all of those donations. Greatly appreciated. And I will be going out Saturday night, boots on the ground. So please come check it out. And God bless. Thank you. See you all tomorrow.
All right, guys. As always, thank you for showing up and hanging out with us for almost 3 hours tonight. Usually don't go that long, but had a lot of information and we got into a lot of side stories. And thank you, Pink Pixie. Appreciate that. But most of all, I want to thank you all for your support and showing up. And I know I'll see y'all tomorrow night on the Boots on the Ground. I know y'all love those, and we try our best to at least get one a weekend. Would y'all like to see 2 boots on the ground a week, or would you like to see the breakdowns? If y'all had your choice, would you take a boots on the ground or a breakdown? Which one would you all rather have? If you had the choice. CRJ says breakdown. I could break dance too. Sharon Guy would definitely see you.
Power.
Pink Pixie says both. MRL don't want to see that. Tim says 2 boots on the ground. I like boots on the ground, but breakdowns of shows are great. Man, everybody wants both. Whew. Amy says boots on the ground. So, yeah, we'll have to one of each, Teresa. Yeah, we'll have to see what we can do. I like everybody. It seems like boots on the ground is the winner. Yeah, I'll do the worm on the next one, guys. But guys, thank you for being here. Honestly, it means a lot to me, a whole lot to me. And Hunter, I love you so much, buddy. I can't wait to see you. We got a lot of things to catch up on. I got you a lot of things since you've been gone, and it keeps building because people keep sending things. And you have a lot of people out there that love and support you. And I love you, and I will never stop fighting for you. And I will see you soon. Guys, we're going to end this one. Until next time, keep your head on a swivel. Don't be something's dinner. And if you don't mind, guys, light it up with the hearts and any questions you have. Thank you for being here. Good night. God bless.